Bless Squad, what's going on with y'all, man? It's your boy Blessed Applesauce here to bless y'all with another video. And today we're going to be talking about another trading idea, another trading concept on how to identify support and resistance and also supply and demand zones. If you're not using this in your trading, make sure you stay tuned for the whole video because there's going to be a lot of content involved because this is going to really take your trading to the next level, understanding support, resistance, supply, demand levels. Super important. Before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button, spam that like button. Let's make that like button blue. I put a lot of work into this video, so the least y'all can do is hit the like button, of course. So without further ado, let's get into it. I am going to go into the computer because it's a lot easier to show y'all exactly what support and resistance lines are by actually looking at some charts. So let's transition into that.
All right, so what's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about support and resistance level. This is super important. This is like 101 of trading. If you don't understand how to do this, make sure you watch throughout this whole video. I'm going to break everything down for you because without this, you're not going to really know exactly where to buy and sell. So make sure you hit the like button on this video. I'm going to break it down as easily and as perfectly as I can for y'all. And just to show your support, just make sure you hit the like button. So support and resistance, if nobody has heard, it is a level where buyers and sellers are interested in. So imagine you have a car or any type of commodity that you might be buying or selling. Let's use a car, for example. So a Toyota is going to have a normal market value. Let's say the average Toyota is $20,000. So maybe you are able to get a Toyota for $10,000. That would be considered a good deal. Or you may be able to get a Toyota for $50,000. That may not be a good deal. But the $10,000 would be a great level to buy at. That would be your support level. And the $50,000 level would be your resistance level. That's like the high level. That's where you want to start selling at. So that's the same thing that happens in the market. The market creates these levels of support and resistance, these highs and lows, where a stock is supposed to be traded at. And the market is always trying to move to the happy medium. But throughout moving to the happy medium, it goes to the extremes of the support and resistance level. So what we want to do as traders is identify these support and resistance levels because we want to buy our Toyota, for example, at $10,000 at a very cheap price, and we want to sell it at a higher price or a price where it's oversold where it needs to be sold at maybe $50,000. So that's all support and resistance is, and this is a definition. Key levels where price is expected to pause or reverse based on past history. So in the market, we're going to be looking at how the stock has performed in the past. So with the Toyota example, in the past, we know the average price of the Toyota. In the past, we know that the price fluctuates around, let's say, 10 and 50,000. Low points is 10, high points is 50. So based on this history, we expect the price to pause or reverse because it's either too high or too low. And the same thing happens in the market. That's kind of what this definition represents. Support and resistance levels are not perfect. They're not going to always bounce off of these levels. These are just guidelines to understand where the price may go up or down. There's a lot of different factors that can affect a support and resistance level, and I will show you a little bit later. But things like news, something that comes out about a particular company may affect these levels where the market has to readjust and figure out where the new levels of support and resistance are. And here's going to go into an example of what a market may look like. As you can see here, the bottom level here, I got my pointer. Yeah, so the bottom level here would be your support level. You can see this is the low end. So originally it was trading here. You can see your low point here, the support level, your high point here at your resistance level. And you know it would be good to buy here at the support, sell at the resistance, buy, sell, and then it ended up what is called a breakout. It broke out of this original range that the market was in. Maybe it was some news that came out, or maybe some buyers continue to buy at these levels. For whatever reason, the market decided to push through this resistance level. So these resistance levels and support levels are not perfect. They're just guidelines to see where a high probability area where this thing would move and fluctuate. So we see now it broke out of this resistance level and it pushed to a new resistance. So we're creating new levels of support and resistance. So this level here is now your resistance, and this now level here is now your support. As you can see, support levels become resistance levels, and the resistance levels can become support levels. So you can see when we go into the live trades, you're starting to notice that stocks are bouncing around these same key levels, even if they're support or resistance levels. So when they break out, they may retest a support level, or when they break down, they may retest a resistance level to show these new levels. And you can see that here in this diagram, how it retested this resistance level, and it now became support, and now it's bouncing around in this new range of support and resistance. And this happens pretty consistently. It's pretty crazy how charts move in this way, and it's pretty predictable. You can make decent money just trading off of these support and resistance levels with proper risk management. Another thing I want to talk about a little bit more is supply and demand zones, because in a market, these levels of support and resistance are not going to be perfect. It's not going to be just 5 here is your resistance and 1 is your support. It's not going to be a perfect structure like that. You're going to be looking more for supply and demand zones. They're going to have your support and resistance, and you're also going to have your supply and demand zone. So the supply and demand is just key levels. So with the Toyota example, 50,000, maybe 48 to 50,000 is your resistance. You may not get perfectly 50, but you know this is the zone where it's extremely high. And same with the support. It's not perfectly just one specific number. It's going to be a zone, a specific area that we know that this thing needs to be purchased. And you can see through this chart how it bounced around the support and resistance levels. It pushed all the way down here, but it was still in the supply zone. It was still in the demand zone. Excuse me. It was still in the demand zone, and it pushed all the way up and squeezed all the way up back to the resistance. So these lines aren't perfect. They're just key areas that we want to look for. And also, I want to talk about the whole and half dollar levels. We're going to look at this in the charts as well. Whole and half dollar levels tend to be support and resistance levels as well. So it's just a psychological thing. People in the markets are looking for whole and half dollar levels because they're just, if you want to buy something, you're kind of thinking, okay, I want to buy at 3, I want to buy at 4, and these levels tend to be support and resistance levels. You'll see a little bit more, but 9 times out of 10, if you see a whole and half dollar level, it's probably going to be a support resistance level. So let's get into how to draw these exact levels. I'm going to show y'all some live trades, some live examples on how to specifically draw these support and resistance levels. So let's get into it. Okay, so right now I'm on TD Ameritrade. This is a platform. It's absolutely free. One of my personal favorite platforms, the very first platform second platform that I started with when I started trading, but this is elite. This is an amazing platform. TD Ameritrade does not sponsor me for any of this, but I just love the platform. The layout, the charts, all the information and data that you get from Thinkorswim is just absolutely phenomenal. I love their charting platform, and I highly recommend, if you're looking to get into trading, I highly recommend you get this platform as well. It's free to download. You don't have to pay for any of this. You just download it, and it's access on your computer. Okay, so right now we're going to try to draw our support and resistance levels. So on this chart, this is the stock Roku. It's currently trading at 109 right now. But stock Roku has been here. It's pushed up, been down, pushed up, been down, pushed up. And the first level we want to mark out is the absolute high. So this is an example of our $50,000 Toyota Camry that is super high. This is our resistance level. And then we also want to mark out the very low. See the low here at $58 is the all-time low. So this would be considered our support level. And we also want to look for, those are the easiest ones to mark out, the highs and the lows. We also want to mark out these other resistance levels where the stock has been bouncing and buyers or sellers have been showing interest to buy it, or buyers have not been interested and decided to sell it off. So the first level I want to look at here is this level here, how it bounced off here. And notice how it bounced once here, it bounced again here, and then if we look again here, this is another key target area where it bounced off. So it pushed up off of this previous level, this all-time low, pushed all the way up, bounced, and then pushed again. So this, we know this is a key target area because it's bounced 3 times at this level. So this is a level of interest that we want to look at. Let's see if we can find another one. Okay, so see, notice how it bounced here, it bounced here, and it bounced here. So this is also another resistance support level. So we want to mark that off as well. So 1, 2, 3. And a lot of people struggle with this because they feel as though this is like, it has to be super perfect, super textbook. These are just key levels we want to look at, key levels of interest where we're seeing the market. So it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. We just want to know that this area is of interest to us, and we may want to be taking trades around this area. So we know this key area is very interesting to us. Maybe you want to pause the video and see if you can find any others in this chart, any levels where the stock is bouncing or reversing, and see if you can identify that. Okay, so a couple other levels I see here is this level. So notice how it bounced here and bounced here. So this is another key level that we want to mark out. And we can notice here there's a lot of activity going on here, and even in the past we had a slight pause in the stock right here at this level, and we had another pause right here. So this is an interesting level that we do want to look at as well. There's a couple of minor ones here as well. We have one right here. So because it bounced here, came down a little bit, bounced here. This is another resistance level. And notice how right here, what we were talking about before, $1.50 level. This is $150. This is $150. So that was interesting how this lined up perfectly. So these things tend to line up. This was a whole dollar of perfectly $150 because it's a psychological level. If you bought it at 100 and you're thinking maybe I want to sell it at 150, that a lot of people are thinking the same thing, and it ends up selling off at 150. So that's basically how you identify support and resistance. It's just key target areas you're looking at where the stock has bounced or reversed. It takes a little time to understand and master, but after you start looking at charts and looking at the trends, how this thing pushes up and pushes down, and see where it reverses and stuff, you can identify these key levels where you want to place your support and resistance lines and place trades off of. So let's say we wanted to take a trade. Currently now we're looking at this stock here, Roku. If it got down here, we will be interested in looking at a trade here because it's bounced here previously. So that might be an area of interest. You might want to set an alert. So when it gets down to $100, another key target area, we want to take a trade here because it's bounced a lot at 100, and we could possibly potentially make maybe $30 or $40 per share on that. So that's basically how you break down support and resistance levels. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section down below. But that's going to wrap it up. It's been your boy, Blessed Applesauce. Stay blessed, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one, man.
Just to see tomorrow is a blessing. Stay prayed up is the message. Everything about a nigga blessed. Everything about a nigga blessed.